an awesome evening. This is Carla from the Planet Union meetup. I do so many of these that I forget what show I'm on at times. And I almost welcomed you to the English show. But that isn't where we are today, right now. We will be there in about 2 hours. Having said that, this is, excuse me, my nose is itching like crazy right this moment. And it's no fun, but it is what it is. And having said that, excuse me, it's kind of funny, I guess, at this point. And if I can't laugh at it, what else can I do? An itchy nose. Back to my introduction. We're here because this is Planet Union. It's bringing different people from around the world in to speak and tell us about your culture and your way of life, and maybe your most favorite aspect of your country that you enjoy. Huang, please change your name. Your most favorite aspect of your country. Is it your food? Is it a favorite festival? Whatever it is, this is your time to talk about it and encourage others to know what it's about. One of my favorite things in the United States is the holiday of Thanksgiving, because it's not a religious holiday. It's a holiday where people celebrate being thankful, being grateful. My thoughts on it is that we should be doing that every day. We have the United States here. I'm from the US, and so is Victor.
Dude. Just call me dude.
Victor, please, not now. And Huang is from Vietnam. I'm trying to get this started and I need to be focused, Victor. Anyway, I am working on being focused and being a part of this show. I am very excited to talk to people from all over the world about their culture and their way of life. And I'm looking forward to meeting more and more of you guys as you come in and speak with us in English, only because English is the language that is used around the world the most. So we need a language in which we can speak and understand each other. If Huang began speaking in Vietnamese, I would be totally lost. If someone from Pakistan came and was speaking in Urdu, I'd have no idea out of what they're saying. So let's use languages that we all understand, a language we all understand. And if you need to check on your English, come to the English show on Monday and Wednesday for anyone of all ages. And Sunday is for people who are 20 years old and younger. I think Huang's going to be with me. Having said that, Victor, can you please introduce yourself?
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Greetings, whatever time zone you're in. My name is Victor Irving Jenkins. and I live in Sacramento, California. I have a wife and no children. I spend most of my days driving around, delivering food or grocery items to people. And I start my day by telling somebody, anybody, including my wife, something nice, something about themselves that's going to evoke a positive emotion. And as beneficial as that is for the person I'm speaking to, somehow I think it benefits me more because I don't come alive until I say to someone, "Hey, how you doing? Good morning, greetings, pleased to see you. Have a nice day." I got it on good authority that today is going to be better for you than yesterday. And that gets me a little juiced. And the more juiced I am, the better person I am, the better husband I am, the better stranger I am. I'm joining Carla on the Planet Union to talk about a variety of topics that impact my culture that you may want to know more about. And I thank Carla for inviting me to the show. Back to you, Carla.
And you're very welcome. Tell me one of your favorite cultural things that you like most in the United States.
I would have to say, in the United States, the ability and the privilege to drive a car is a rite of passage. Little children, from the time that they are old enough to ride in a car without a car seat, aspire to one day drive. So driving is part of our culture, and in many places in the United States, they have very excellent public transportation, but even part of the teenage maturity is driving. And I do enjoy driving. I enjoy driving immensely. I think it may be, and this is just a possibility, that thing that is most rare is the thing that we consider the most valuable. And as I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to drive very early. In fact, I got my license when I was 21. And most people in American culture, they get their license as soon as they can, around 16 or 17 years old. So because I was denied the right to drive between 16 and 21, I think that when I finally was able to drive and finally got a driver's license, I was so enamored with the process that I still am to today.
That's very interesting. And let me tell you why I say that. When I got my license when I was 16. And the first day, my parents said, "You can take the car out." And I was driving a little. I think I went to the grocery store for my parents. And on the way back, I was in a minor accident, making a left-hand turn. I didn't get straight early enough, and I hit someone's car. When I finally began driving more steadily, should I call it that, I stopped driving for a while. And I remember that very clearly. I stopped driving. And for about a year or two, I was hesitant, being in an accident so early in my career as a driver. And I took driving lessons again about a year later. Actually, I drove for a while and I was in another accident. And I just decided I ain't driving. And I came back to drive again. And I remember taking driving lessons. And the person who was teaching me said, "You're ready. You're going to pass the test this time right away because you're really good." And then she said, "Don't drive the first day. Major things happen when you first learn to drive. And if you don't drive right away, what happens is you give it a day to get used to it, then you begin to feel more comfortable driving." And that is exactly what happened. So, drivers, if you get into an accident right away, no biggie. Just realize that it's a normal thing. It may happen. And if it happens, so what? It has happened. Having said that, Victor, how was your driving when you first started?
It was very exciting. I can remember today actually taking the test. A good friend of mine loaned me his car. By the time I got my driver's license, unlike many people like yourself who was 16, I was active duty United States Air Force. I was stationed in a place called Wiesbaden, Germany. And I didn't have a car. I didn't own a car. Now I learned to drive on a manual transmission, 4-speed on a car that had 4 speeds on it. And when I got my driver's license, it was very exciting for me. I was driving a 1976 American Motors Matador, which has since gone out of business. But I was really ecstatic, and I could not wait to purchase a car. Well, after I got my license, I was in Germany, and a fun fact: before I got my license, I got pulled over in Germany for driving without a license. Can you imagine that? But I did
Well, say that again. I didn't quite understand you.
before I got my license, I got pulled over in Germany for driving without a license.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And,
Go
and
on.
I was driving without a license because everyone else in the car was inebriated and I wasn't. And I got into some trouble for driving without a license, but shortly thereafter, my boss, we call them the NCOIC, that's the non-commissioned officer in charge. He loaned me his Matador, and I went on the military base and took my driver's test and passed it the first time. So I was ecstatic when that happened because now I could get me a car and I could drive. And at the time, I never thought about where I would go or what I would do. I was just glad to be driving.
What is, you said the guy loaned you his Matador? What's a Matador?
A Matador is a big sedan. Back in 1976, the cars were generally bigger than what they are now. And an American Motors Matador was, I guess, it was a nice car. It was a big, nice car, automatic transmission, air conditioning. And one of the first years that they had the locked steering wheel, that's important because in America the locked steering wheel was a little bit behind time. They got locked steering wheels in Europe before Americans did. So this Matador was a really nice car, and it was really nice of him to let me use this car because I didn't have a license.
Why didn't your father or mother lend you their car?
Well, in this particular instance, I was overseas, so they couldn't lend me their car.
Oh,
But
okay.
the reason they discouraged me driving to begin with is that the very first time I sat in the car and they were trying to teach me how to drive, it was what they call a manual transmission with the gear stick up on the wheel instead of down in the middle of the seats as they are now. And that day, I ran into a tree in the front of my house. And sometime before that, while walking, I used to walk into parked cars. So they thought I was accident prone, and they just decided that, nah, we don't want you anywhere near a car.
That's a great story, though.
And what's even more interesting than that is, it turns out I have had more car accidents than the average bear. And not all the car accidents were my fault, but the fact that I was involved in more car accidents than the average bear, perhaps they knighted me accident prone when they told me as a kid that I was too prone to having car accidents. Fortunately, none of the car accidents, well, only one of the car accident was serious, but I was not seriously injured.
I think, my sister and brother saw me as very accident prone too. I'm so glad you told that story. Now we have Huang from Vietnam. Can you introduce yourself, and when did you learn to drive? Now that we're talking about driving.
Yes, Carla. Thank you for having me in this session. Yes, my name is Huang. I'm speaking from Vietnam. I'm a lecturer in a government university. Yes, I have been teaching in a university for more than 17 years. Yeah, I love talking with other people, so that's why I'm so excited to be here. In order to answer the question, for me, I learned driving my, motorbike, not car. I mean, 20 years ago. Yes, 20 years ago. Yeah, I could ride my scooter around and around. And first of all, it was so, heavy for me. It's not easy even to control it. But after 2 months, yeah, successfully, I could drive and I could manage with a long distance. And I got my driving license to drive car, 4 years ago. Yeah, but right now I haven't had a car yet. Hopefully next year I will take one.
What were you in any accidents when you first began riding a bike?
Yep, of course.
Did that happen almost right away, or was it years down the road?
I was at that. It was at that. Now, that's my motorbike was very heavy, so yes. It automatically fell down. I was not able to control it. I'm so small. I was very small at that time, so it was too heavy. But just like injured, not serious. It's not serious at all.
How old were you when that happened?
I was 18 years old. But at that time I was very thin, so like 35 or 37 kilograms. So with my motorbike, more than 100 kilograms.
But how was that right away? I'm sorry, I may have been a little distracted. Was that right in the beginning of your riding career? Or was it down the road maybe a year later or half a year?
On the road, yeah. On the road, down the road.
You didn't understand my question. When was your accident? Was it right when you began driving? Or was it months later?
That's the first time. actually.
So it was the first day you were driving, you were riding your bike, you were in, was anyone hurt?
No, only me. I got
Well,
injured
you're
a little bit.
important. How were you hurt?
My knee scratched.
But it wasn't a major hurt. It wasn't like you were in the hospital or you were
No,
injured. Your knee got hurt.
Yep.
Was anyone else in the accident?
no, only me got involved.
Oh no, you. You, Kevin.
Kevin.
Now I know that you are. Introduce yourself for someone who may be watching but doesn't know you.
Okay, my name is Yocheved. I am originally from New York, but I have been living in Israel for quite a long time now. I work in Hebrew to English translation, and I volunteer as a matchmaker on an online dating service. And I like books and food. There's a brief intro.
What's your favorite food?
Favorite food? That'd be some stiff competition, but French fries are one of the first things that comes to mind, and which I tend to avoid. Yeah.
And what's your favorite Israeli food?
Well, not that it's so Israeli. First of all, French fries are pretty popular around here. I guess maybe schnitzel, which is basically breaded chicken breast, mostly.
Oh, do you make it?
Yeah, classically it's you fry it, but I oven bake it.
Ah, is that definitely an Israeli dish, or is it?
No, I assume it's import, but it is quite popular here. I mean, what people think of as classic Israeli is falafel and hummus, which is really classic Middle Eastern. And there's actually some funny comedy stuff as well as some serious things. Well, which country really originated it? It's really Lebanese. It's really this. It's really, there's a little bit of a regional, I guess more benign regional conflict about the origins of some of those foods.
Okay. I know that when I was in Hebrew school, I went to we had a big fair, and during that fair, I ate my first falafel.
Mhm.
And I always considered falafel as an Israeli food.
Right. Yeah, I'd agree. But again, whether it's, specific, I don't know. What was interesting actually when they would have an Israeli Independence Day program, often they'll serve falafel, but in fact, what Israelis generally do on Independence Day is have a barbecue. They do not, in fact, eat falafel. So,
What do they eat?
hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken wings, barbecue food.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. And what is one of your, when did you learn to drive?
I
Being
learned it.
from New York, it's
Right. I learned in New York where you have to be 17 there to get a license. And I got a license at 17, but driving is not one of my best skill sets. I got a license because I practiced and practiced and practiced. I think I probably put in hundreds of hours behind the wheel. I always tell people that had I needed to get my license in Israel, I might not have been able to. I would have gone broke first because in New York, you're allowed to drive, that a student driver can drive with another adult driver in the car. In Israel, you need a dual set of brakes, which basically means you have to do all your driving with a driving school. And driving school is, drivers are not cheap. And I don't think I would have been able to put in enough hours before breaking the bank.
How many hours would you need to, how many hours do you need to drive in Israel?
Well, I don't remember or know because I didn't do it here exactly. I think, I think you're allowed to take the test after maybe 20 hours of driving. But what I'm saying is that to pass the test, I probably did 100 hours. And to pay for that many hours is prohibitive. So I would have been in bad shape. I don't know, if I would have gotten it. Having said that, I did not have any accidents when I started to drive. And actually, until this day, I knocked off a mirror, someone's mirror once, and, a little of that kind of business. But I don't think I ever had anything that even needed to be reported to anybody, like, never had a police report filed. But that's mostly because I don't like to drive, so I don't drive that much. We do not currently own a car. When we come to the States, we, use our parents' wheels. And I'm very careful about not undertaking things that I think would be unsafe for me to do. So like when we were in New York not long ago, we went in for a lot of the summer. Sorry.
Oh, is that your,
Hold on, sorry. Ori, can you get rid of my cell phone thing?
Should I answer the phone or not?
No. Sorry about that.
it's okay, it
Sorry.
happens, you're human.
Yeah. So I was saying I didn't have an act. Oh yeah. I just don't drive. When we were in the States this last time, we were in, well, you're not going to know the different geography, but we were in the suburbs, and we had a wedding in Brooklyn, and we had access to a car. And I told my sister-in-law, it was my niece's wedding, I said, we need a ride to the wedding. And someone said, well, maybe you could get a car from it. I said, no, I don't need a car. I need a chauffeur. I said, I have access to a car, but I don't think it would be safe for me to drive. The driving there is not simple. Maybe going to the wedding during the day, maybe, but at night, I said, it's just, I can't do it. It's not safe. So we got a ride, they found us a lift.
So your husband is in the same boat in a way when it comes to driving?
Largely, he dislikes driving. I hate driving. But a few years ago, he was in an accident, which was 100% not his fault. The insurance, settled that somebody ran a red light. They said their brakes failed and caused a multi-car pile up. And thank God nobody was hurt, but the car that he was in was totaled, which was his father's car. Like the parents thought, you don't have to worry about that anymore when your kid is, 45. But anyway, the car was totaled, and there were, I think, 4 cars involved. And since then, he has a little bit of post-trauma from that. He does drive sort of locally when he needs to, but now he really, even more than before. He was also never a big driver, but since then he's really kind of apprehensive about driving. And like I said, that was not his fault at all. The woman ran a red, but still he's, it shook him up.
Yeah, I get it completely.
Yeah.
We have someone new who I've never met. Do you know her, Huang? Thank you
Yes.
for inviting her. Hang Pham, is that your
Yes.
name?
Yes, hello, teacher Farah. Hello, everyone. I I know about the meeting from Miss Huang Facebook page. Yeah.
Okay. And where do you live?
I live in Vietnam.
Should I call you Hang or Pham?
Yes, yes. You can call me Hang.
And what does Hang mean?
In my mother tongue, my name means the moon.
So you're the moon, and
Yeah.
Pham means what?
Oh no, Pham is my family name.
Does that have a meaning too?
No, I think no. No meaning about my family name, but my name in my mother tongue, it means a moon.
And where do you live in Vietnam?
I live in Hải Phòng, a city in the northern part of Vietnam. My city is 100 kilometers from Hanoi, the capital city.
So you're pretty far from Hanoi.
Yes,
Sure.
not very
Yeah.
far. I think about 2 hours driving.
But that's pretty far. You wouldn't go there every morning and come back every night.
Yeah, but I work in my hometown, so only sometimes I must to go to the capital city. Most of the maybe once per month or maybe once a month or once for 3 months like that. So sometimes I go there.
Wonderful. So what kind of work do you do?
I work as an accountant.
Say that again, please.
I work as an accountant.
Oh, so you're into numbers like Huang.
Yes, I think it is a bit boring work because I always work with numbers.
Wonderful. Now, how long have you been working? You look very young.
No, I've been working for more than 25 years.
25 years. I would have never guessed you were that old. Are you married with a family?
Yes, yes. I live with my husband and my parents-in-law. I have one son and he is 30 years old.
Wow.
Did you say 30?
Wow.
Yes,
Or-
30 years old. Yeah.
You're
Looking
kidding.
good.
Yes.
Does he work?
Yes, my son is a software engineer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What does your husband do?
My husband is a construction engineer and he works in my hometown as well.
Wonderful. So, do you drive?
No, I have no car. I just have motorbike. And yes, I go to work by motorbike. Sometimes I go to work by bicycle because my office near my house.
How big of a commute is it? Like 5 minutes, half an hour?
Yes, it takes me about 10 minutes by bicycle, but sometimes I must go to visit my customer, so I go by motorbike, and it takes me about only 5 minutes.
Now, were you in any accidents when you were first beginning to ride your bike?
Oh, maybe very, very long time ago when I a little child, maybe when I was 10 years old, when I learned how to ride bicycle, I was I fell down many times.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
all did that.
Yes.
Were you driving a motorbike or riding a regular bicycle at that point?
Mm, And I ride motorbike very slowly and carefully like that. So
When you were 10 years old?
no. When I was 10 years old, I just ride bicycle, rode bicycle.
Okay. When did you start driving a motorbike?
Oh, when I was 30 years old. At that time, I just had my own motorbike and I just learned how to ride it.
Now, were you in any accidents when you first began riding your motorbike?
No.
Amazing.
I didn't have accident at all when I when I learned how to ride motorbike.
Wow. What
Yeah.
about you, Huang? How old were you when you started your motorbike?
I think I was 18 years old, younger, a little bit younger. My father taught me how to ride, but he just showed me some way, like where's a place to increase the level, where the back or something like that. But I couldn't control when the back was broken, so that's why I couldn't manage that motorbike, and I fell down. But with some grass there, so with a rice party, so that's only me I got hurt.
Well, I'm glad that no one else got hurt, and I'm sorry you got hurt, but it happened.
Okay.
What about you, Hang? Did you ever have any problems riding your bike?
Sorry, please come again. I didn't get it.
Excellent. I love how you said, sorry, come again. You admitted that you didn't understand. That's a very important thing to do, Hang, because no one knows if anyone understands you or if you understand them, unless you tell us. And you just did. Did you have any accidents when you were first learning to ride your motorbike?
No, because I I learned how to ride motorbike when I was 30 years old. At that time, my husband taught me, and at that time I just have my own motorbike because at that time I think motorbike is a bit expensive for us. So when my family, it means that my husband and I could buy one motorbike, and he taught me how to ride, and he like he sit behind me when I ride motorbike, and I ran it very slowly. So when my motorbike was not balanced, I can use my my feet to like put in the road. So yes, I didn't have accident when I learned how to ride motorbike.
And that's great. You know, I have never ridden a motorbike
Oh, yes.
ever in my life. Have you, Victor?
I've never ridden a motorbike, but I did briefly experience a motorcycle, and that was not something I wanted to repeat.
Why?
Well, first of all, the decision to do it was made under the influence of inebriants, alcohol.
Oh,
And,
why
and
did you ride under when you were drinking?
well, it was just a fluke. It was not a well thought out decision. My friend, he rides bikes all the time, and he wasn't much smarter than me. He was younger than me, and I was drinking, and so I decided to get on his motorcycle. He told me how to drive it, and there's covered parking in many apartment complexes, and the covered parking, the top is held up by these metal poles that are placed periodically. And fortunately, I was only about 10 feet from one and ran into one, and my little toe got broken. And that was too bad. I mean, that kind of took me out of my drunken stupor. And I got off the thing and never got back on it again.
I would be the same way. I've ridden behind as a passenger, and even that I didn't like because it was just too windy for me. What about you, Yokebet? Have you ever been on a motorbike?
I went around the block, doubled up with my little brother, who in his college days decided he needed a motorcycle, which my parents offered to buy off of him, I think at a profit for him, but he was having none of it. But he didn't have it for that long because he said in New York, it's really not that worthwhile because the weather is bad too much of the year to ride one. But kind of cool at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I never had one on my own nor ever even considered it. So that was
Neither
about it.
would I. I had a cousin who's about my age who was in a really bad accident on a motorcycle that ever since then, I just, not something I wanted to do. So, Hung, back to you. Tell us a little more about yourself. Do you live in an extended family, or do you live alone?
Yes, I live in an expanded family. In the past, I live in my family. There are, I think, 4 generations. My husband, grandparent, and my husband parent, and means my parents-in-law, and my husband and I, and my son. But my grandparent-in-law, she died more than 10 years ago. So now in my family, there is only my parents-in-law and my husband and I. My son lives in another city because she works there. He works there. So yes, my parents-in-law are very elderly. My father-in-law is 88 years old.
That's a long life.
Yeah, but he is I think good, and he can walk himself. So yes, and my mother-in-law is 82 years old.
Okay. Now
Yes.
tell me, how did you meet Huang?
Misung teach English in another group, and I often join her meeting, and I really appreciate her help, her support for English learner in many, I think in the community where many people from another from different country can join and discuss about many topics, and she teach many skill, listening, speaking, grammar, and we learn a lot from her. And I think I can improve my English thanks to the programs.
And that's good.
Yeah.
Why do you want to improve your English?
I when the pandemic time exists, I work from home and I feel very bored, and I have more leisure time than usual. So I think I will learn something new to improve myself and to make me feel like make me feel interested like that. So I try to learn English because I think in my age, learning something new to make me slow down my aging process. So and luckily for me, when I learn English, I join some groups and meet some people from India and some Asia country, and they they learn. They support me. They often connect with me, and they teach me. The beginning time, I don't know how to speak. When I listen to them, I can understand. I could understand, but I don't know how to reply and how to speak. And they teach me. They always put some question like that. How are you? Tell me about the family like that. So I improve day by day, and I find that learning English is my hobby because I can communicate with people, and thanks to learning English, I can improve my communication skill. Because before learning English, I'm not confident to speak, and I think my communication skill is not as good as now.
You never say that. Because when you say you cannot do something or I don't do it well, you never improve yourself. You kind of stay blocked. Your English is beautiful for someone who is, it's just beautiful. You are speaking very, very well. Don't say I cannot do it, or don't say I don't know how to do it, because you're doing a wonderful, wonderful job. I am so impressed by your English. I hope you come to my English show on Monday or Wednesday evening, because all you need is practice. You speak very, very well. Don't say I can't do it. Say I can do it. Let me hear you say I can speak English. Come on.
I can speak English.
Say it louder.
I can speak English.
Say it like you believe it.
I can speak English.
I want to hear it louder and clearer.
I can speak English.
Again, louder and clearer.
I can speak English.
Louder.
I can speak English.
Again.
I can speak English.
Make me believe that you can speak English.
I can speak English.
Get mad at me and say, I can speak English. Come on, you can do it.
Yeah, I can speak English.
Again.
I can speak English.
Do you know why I made you do this? It'll help you believe you can do it.
Yes.
If you don't believe in yourself, you're right, you can't do anything. But
Yeah.
if you believe you can do something, you will do it and you can do it well. Huang, tell her your story when you first came and I could barely get you to say hello. And you kept coming every day, and it was like, what am I going to say to this woman? I can't even get her to say hello.
Yes, Carla. That's my stories. When the first time I joined Carla's show, I was so surprised and I was like a dumb. I didn't know how to speak up and open my mouth to talk and to reply, to be honest. And yes, after several times when staying next to her, yes, I understood and I got to know how to talk and speak English more properly. So yes, also today I feel very proud of Sister Hang because we have met for for many months and we keep talking and communicating with each other, and I admire her with that age and also her patience, her diligence, and I love her manner and attitudes about learning and speaking English. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huang. Thank you, sister.
You need to say that again and say it clearer. I didn't understand what you were saying. Come on.
Speak louder, please. Sister
Me?
Han.
Oh, thank you, Miss Huang. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I think you are my favorite teacher because I really appreciate your effort, your dedication to English learner. Even though in many countries, not only Vietnamese learner, Vietnamese English learner, and yes, and you know, sometimes I think that why I don't learn English before means that in 10 years ago like that. I feel regret because I learned English too late. So I wish I could back time like that. So in order that I can learn English earlier, maybe 10 years ago or at least 5 years ago.
But if you're saying, maybe that would have been nice, but you did not do it then. You're doing it now. The past is over. You can't go back 10 years and begin again.
Yeah.
You really can't. And you don't need to worry about what's going to happen in the next minute because we don't know. But right now, you are speaking English.
Yes.
And you are speaking it very well. Forget about 10 years ago. If I thought of what I wanted 10 years ago, now it would be a lot different from what I thought it would be 10 years ago. In fact, I thought I'd still be teaching in the school. No, I didn't. It was more like 14 years ago. But it doesn't matter because you're growing every day and you're expanding. Victor, what do you think of this lady's English?
I think it's excellent. It's good. She speaks it as well as people who only know English. Her English is as well as someone who only knows how to speak English. So I'm not sure what her apprehension is about speaking English, but let me give you an injection of confidence. You speak English very well. In fact, you seem like you speak it well enough to teach it. And you don't stutter. You don't use filler words. You speak it like you're a professional. So thank you for coming on the show today. That's what I think of it.
Thank you, Yocheved. Now remember, these two people, Yocheved and Victor, are, I hate to say native English speakers, but they are. They
First
grew
English
up
speaker.
speaking English. Yocheved, what do you think?
I think that her English is very good for somebody who is living, you know, is not in an English speaking country and is having to pick this up through classes and, you know, books or movies or whatever it might be. You know, I wouldn't, you know, every, you know, detail of what preposition is used or grammar, whatever. So, you know, might not be 100% as, you know, a native speaker would have it, but, you know, languages are tough to pick up later. You know, the brain, like the wiring in the brain is suited to learn them when you're young, and learning them when you are not as young is not a simple thing to do. So I'm always impressed. And in America, language instruction is lousy. So Americans don't tend to speak, you know, any other language as well. So we're always kind of blown away with other people who do. You know, the truth is that the people who are really impressive with language often are people from small countries in Europe. And they speak, you know, 6 languages, you know, and they're pretty competent in all of them. That's always like really impressive. You know, like the Belgians and the Swiss, like, you know, the smaller countries there, and, you know, they speak English and French and German and Flemish and Dutch and whatever. But yeah, I see.
And in India and South Asia, they speak about 10 different languages. For, you know,
Yeah.
I've spoken to Rayhan, he said, I speak 5 or 6 different languages, including English. So what you are doing is quite amazing. You should feel good about yourself. Not saying I cannot, say I can. Because whenever you say you cannot do something, trust me, you're right, you can't. But when you say I can, you're also right, you can do it. And it's very, very important. So don't come here and tell me you cannot speak English, because your English is beautiful, lady. And I'm not saying it to make you feel good. I'm saying it because it's true. You've heard it from 2 other people today. How do you feel now? How do you feel now?
Oh, you ask me? Yeah. Now I feel more confidence.
You should.
Yeah.
There's no reason, even every English speaker, whether you're from California like Victor, who I think is really from North Carolina, or Yocheved, who is from New York, none of us speak perfect English. There is no such thing as perfect English. There is no such thing as perfect Vietnamese or perfect Urdu or perfect anything, because we all speak a little differently and we all learn from each other. And the only way we can learn from each other is by speaking to each other. But in America, there's so many dialects, it's unbelievable. And no 2 people speak alike. So what do you have to say about that, Victor?
I can say that in many parts of the world, a second language is only about a half an hour drive. In the United States of America, you can drive for days and everybody still speaks English. Now, they have certain dialects, certain accents, but I think that geography sort of dictate language, and culture runs really close to language as well. So the people that have languages within a short distance from them, they also change cultures as frequently or as quickly as they change the language. I'm pretty sure that the culture is different from one country to the other. And I think it's a good thing that they have that many different languages. It also gets your mind in a mind, you have also developed a mindset of being versatile and being able to switch from one language to the other, one idea to the other. I think those are beneficial steps. I think that makes you a more successful human being.
Okay, and there's another point, Victor. Do any of us, do two people speak the same ever?
No, two people don't speak the same. In fact, if you get really specific, even if they do use the same words, they might not even mean the same thing. I have found, and the research bears this out, that most of your communications it's not done with words anyway, but the words sort of expresses the thought. The key is that being able to speak a certain language, it indicates a certain way of being. It actually demonstrates what you're thinking and that you're communicating with someone. But there are other things about the communication that if the language is not mastered, you're still going to miss a significant part of the communication. I mean, even if someone's smiling, a smile is a universal language, but if they're saying something other than something pleasing when they're smiling, well, you really don't know what they mean. So as small a part as language plays in communication, that's a very critical part, and that's the little thing that makes a big difference.
And what do you need to say about that, Kevin? Or maybe not need, but what would you like to say?
I also certainly think that it's enriching to study other languages and be exposed to other cultures and areas. And individual use of language varies. I mean, that's why they have like programs and things that can try to determine who wrote something based on exactly how they do it. But more globally speaking, though, one American can understand another one as a rule, even if there are certain, quirks. But, and for sure, the need for other languages has an impact on how much people invest in learning another language. And, so America, as the rest of the world, resents somewhat, but Americans often don't feel that much need, to learn other languages. But I think it is impoverishing to some degree. I used to have a sign up in my room at home that said, talk is, actually, this is a little tricky in terms of the word usage, but it said, talk is cheap, invest in another language. So,
Jawohl.
So that's it. I like language. I work in and with languages, and I studied in university, not a lot, but I did a year of Latin. I did a couple of years of French. I did a year of Yiddish. I did a philosophy of language class. I did a linguistics class. I like it. I enjoy wordplay. So that's it. But I enjoy language and enjoy speaking. I'm actually going to have to sign off soon.
Well, it is time to sign off. The show has been on for a tiny bit over an hour. I want to thank you guys for coming and speaking with me. And I want to thank those who watched. And we'll be back next month with another chapter of Planet Union. Can we all wave goodbye? Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Goodbye, teacher. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye bye.